Hey you guys, it's your girl, the Blue Empress, and I hope everyone is doing awesome. It is approximately 9:30 my time in Michigan, of course, so this is basically around the time that I actually start doing videos because my man gets off at 10:30, so I'm trying to go ahead and do my video early so I can move on to other pressing matters. Not that this is not important, because it is, always. I'm loyal to my fans and my subscribers. So you guys haven't seen me do a video in, say, about, I think it's been like about a week or two since the last episode that I did, which was part one of the origin of blue. So this episode is going to be part two of the origin of blue. Now the last video, and if you guys haven't seen it yet, please click on that, watch that first before you come to part two. You know, don't look at the sequel before you look at how it all began. You know, don't do that. I've done that before. Biggest mistake of my life. Okay, I have a tendency to look at the sequel rather than look at the beginning, and then I'm sitting here and asking myself all these dang old questions. Is like, well, I would have had all the answers had I would have just looked at the first. I don't know if I did that with Saw, the movie Saw, because I think the first time I actually seen Saw was part 3. So I didn't even watch part 1 and part 2 yet. So completely fucked up that whole concept. So I had to start from the beginning. So never ever do that again. If you guys follow me on Instagram, my stepmother helped me with this hairstyle, which I'm super stoked on it. So I am just loving myself even more with this style. I have seen this style on Instagram, and I have just been wanting to put this style in my hair for so long, and I'm so happy it came true. It was just the hair that I normally use to put braids in my hair did not have it in this color, which you guys obviously see is blue. They didn't have it in that color. So my stepmother had went to a beauty supply store in Redford, and she took me with her this Saturday because that's when I got this done. And she found some hair that was, to my liking, and I love it. Okay, it doesn't have to be cut or anything. I did the whole hot water thing with it, and I just love it. And I did the rubber band method as well, and they're not too tight. And I keep my scalp cleansed with peppermint oil, as well as hair growth. I use the black castor oil. So just want to throw that out there to what I use to take care of my hair, because my hair is really short and damaged. So I'm trying to just refrain from putting relaxers in my hair. I'm just gonna wash it, condition it, blow dry it, keep it moisturized, and I'm just gonna keep putting braids in my hair. That's all I can do. Want an easy way to grow your hair out? Wear braids. But anywho, back to the origin of blue, and this is part 2 of it. So I believe I left off in the last video when I officially pretty much distanced myself from my parents at the time. I just distanced myself at it. I wind up living with my man at the time, and who was my boyfriend at the time, and his mother, who was not my mother-in-law. So I wind up staying with them, and I applied for, assistance, basically, food stamps, and I wound up getting a job because those were the rules of me living with her. And I had no problem with that. I cleaned up her house. I cleaned up after myself. Didn't have much of a problem living with them. I was able to come and go as I please. I didn't have to sit over here and worry about my cousins, spying on me and reporting to my auntie or my father or any other parent authority figure in my life about what I was doing. I was able to go and do whatever I wanted to do. And that was the happiest moment for me in my life at that time, that I was able to come and go as I please. I didn't have to sit over here and ask, my man's mother's permission, can I go out and stuff. I was an adult. I can do whatever I want. I fulfill my deal with bringing food in the house and getting a job. I fulfill that. Not a problem. So I was able to, go out with my friends, go out for a walk, or, I was able to do whatever the fuck I wanted to do. And I loved it. I really did. I loved it. I did not have to sit over here and look over my shoulder, to see if someone was going to go report something to my folks. It was all good in the hood for me. So I've already graduated from high school. Thank God, because that was the plan. I wanted to go to college, but I, honest to God, don't know what happened. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Scratch that. I do know what happened. So that summer, I believe it was sometime toward the end of June, beginning of July, my auntie Chris called me and said that she needed someone to watch my two cousins, which was Christina and China. Shannon was not, she wasn't able to locate Shannon, so obviously, I guess I was the last resort. So I wind up spending pretty much my whole entire summer in Cincinnati, Ohio, watching my two little cousins. And guys, when I tell you, I really was just missing my man at that time, really bad, because we just got together, just got back together. And now I'm over here in Franklin, Cincinnati, Ohio, watching my cousins while he's back here at home, pretty much by himself once again. But I think I later on found out that his cousin Deontay, shout out to Deontay, hey, was chilling with him, so he wasn't technically alone. He had company. But I pretty much was getting tormented because, my cousin Christina at the time, she was just spoiled, rotten to the core. So she got everything her heart's desire. And at the time, I kind of felt that China and I were just like the rejects at the time. Like we was only like getting, like we were just going to get the scraps, or whatever. But that's how I felt at the time. I don't feel that way anymore. That was just a different time, whatever. Different mindset, different mind frame. Everyone knows. When you growing, when you're in your teen years, you have a different mind mentality. And then when you turn into an adult and reminisce back when you were a teenager, you're like, what the fuck was I thinking that thing? Did I really think of that? What the hell was I smoking back then? I really must have hit my noggin real hard to come up with that decision and that choice back then. But what can you do? You're a teenager at the time. Nothing you can do about it. What teenager doesn't think that way? Just saying. So I pretty much, like I said, I was out there in Cincinnati, Ohio, watching my cousins. We had fun and everything. We had spats, but it wasn't, what family doesn't have spats? So it was getting time for us to come back home because we all lived in Michigan, except for my auntie at the time. She lived in Cincinnati. So all three of us were going back home. And my auntie drops off China and Christina off first. I so wanted her to drop me off first because I wanted to see my man because I have not seen him all summer. I've been gone. So we take them home, and I think we like chilled over there for about probably like 15, 20 minutes. And I was growing so impatient. I was like, okay, look, you can see them whenever you want to, but please just take me back home because I miss my man. I haven't seen him all summer. I'm ready to go. So she finally dropped me off, whatever. And I was like, okay, you know what? I am never doing that ever again. I love my cousin to death, but the next time she wanted someone to watch them, it is definitely not going to be me. I am not going anywhere else anymore without my man. I'm done. So I came back. Pretty much we're grown-ups. We're out of school, whatever. So now we're adults and we are pretty much working. Because I think at the time he was working at Taco Bell and I was working at Burger King. And mind you, I was neither between walking or riding a bike at the time. Yeah. And I know I was freaking making money. I'm shocked I didn't even take, the time of day to just freaking take a bus. I guess because I like walking. And trust me, it was a very long distance of a walk. If some of you guys are familiar with the area of Inkster and Michigan Avenue, that's where I lived at the time. That's where that's where my mother-in-law had lived. Because I can call my mother-in-law now. But that's where she lived at the time. And I walked all the way down from Inkster all the way down pretty much past Vinoy in Michigan Avenue because the Burger King was right there. So basically, it was way before it got to Wayne. So it was a long walk. I kid you not. Like, I had to leave at a certain time just to know that I was going to make it to work on time. It was crazy. The things I did back then to make sure I got to work. Hey, responsible mind. So, September goes by, whatever, and then October comes around. I started feeling sick on the stomach all of a sudden. I'm like, okay, well, I don't know if I'm getting a cold or if I'm coming down with a stomach flu, some kind of virus. I was just like freaking out because I was like, well, all of a sudden I'm not feeling too good, whatever. And I think around that time, I was like cleaning constantly. Like, my mother-in-law's walls were filthy dirty to me. They looked filthy dirty. And I literally took a bucket and rag and I wiped down. I washed all her walls. She lived in an apartment at the time. And she was like, something ain't right with you. What the heck? You're washing all my walls. I'm like, well, I'm sorry. They're dirty. Now they're actually clean. Like, it looks like I just revived the paint, which was, an off-white color, whatever. It just looked like, I guess people were like putting their handprints on it. There was dust being collected at the top, and it just didn't make the walls any better. So of course I cleaned them. I couldn't take it. So I went to the doctor to see what the hell was going on with me. So they wind up giving me a pregnancy test. And I'm like, no, I'm not pregnant. Like, come on now. I've been this long without getting, knocked up. I've been in relationships during the duration that me and, D were separated. He also was in other relationships too while we were separated. So it's not like we made this, promise. It's not like I wore a promise ring or we made like a blood oath that we weren't going to see anybody during the duration we were separated. I didn't consider that fair to either one of us. But I've managed to not get myself knocked up. So that's why I was telling myself, I'm not pregnant, whatever. Who cares? So I say probably about like 2 weeks go by, maybe even give or take. And I call them, or they call me, whatever the case may be. Either one, I wind up getting on the phone with them. And they wind up telling me, the shocker, I was pregnant. I was fucking pregnant. So you can only imagine the look on my face when they told me that. So I was like, okay. And of course, they say, we need you to come in. We need you to, schedule an appointment so we can, see how far along you are and, make sure that you're taking your prenatal vitamins and that you're taking good care of yourself and you're not stressing yourself out and you're eating properly, et cetera, et cetera. Moms, you know the deal. You know the drill. So I got off the phone and I'm sitting here like, oh my gosh, like, I am freaking pregnant. And I think at the time I was 4 weeks. So just a little small little thing, small circle, got it, like a little alien type thing. So I went into D's room. Mind you, he's playing the video game because my man likes to play video games a lot, but he was playing the game. And I told him, well, I just got off the phone with the doctor and I'm pregnant. I swear I sound like Amina from Love and Hip Hop. I'm pregnant. Except I didn't have a pregnancy test in my bra and I didn't slam it on the ground or anything. No offense, Amina. That was actually funny. But I told him I'm pregnant. And he's just sitting there playing the game. He's like saying, okay. And I'm like, D, I'm pregnant. Like, baby growing inside my stomach. He's still playing the game, saying, okay. And I'm like, I guess he does not understand English because I'm in shock. My feelings are all over the place. I just got the news that I am 4 weeks pregnant. Well, I didn't know I was 4 weeks at the time, but when I went to my appointment, that's when they did an ultrasound. That's when they told me I was 4 weeks. But I'm just telling y'all how many weeks I was at the time, just so I don't have to go through that story on finding out how many weeks I was. So I'm sitting here like, are you not understanding what I am telling you? We're finna be parents. You're finna be a daddy. I'm finna be a mommy. So he eventually put the controller down and was like, what are you worried about? I signed up for the Navy. The Navy is going to take care of not only me, but you and whatever child we bring into this world. So what are you scared of? What are you afraid of? What are you worried about? At the time, we never talked about kids. He knew way before, in the beginning when we first met, that I said I was never going to get married. I was never going to have kids. He knew this. But now I done just got smacked across my face because now I am 4 weeks pregnant. And me and him never had the discussion on kids. I didn't know how he felt. I didn't know if he was ready to be a parent or not. It's just, we never had the talk. Couples, when they, proceed in their relationship, and when they get to that point, they move in together and, they have the conversation of whether or not you want kids or not. You do, you're good. If you don't, then okay, fine. You take all the precautions in the world to make sure you don't have children. We never talked about that. So we conceived this child before we had the talk of whether or not we wanted kids right then and there. So I wind up not working at Burger King anymore. I guess for the simple fact that I was sick and, I wasn't really feeling up to it because, in your first trimester, you just feel like complete utter shit. You gotta regurgitate probably damn near every day. You're gonna be feeling nauseous, so where you gotta keep feeding yourself to prevent yourself from being nauseous. There's certain foods you can't eat. There's certain drinks you can't have. You have to keep your stress level, extremely low, because that can cause you to have a miscarriage. So I have all this stuff wrapped around my head. It's like I just broke away from my family and now I'm about to start my own family. And I'm like, fuck. So he did sign up for the Navy. And I believe it was around November the 24th or the 25th, give or take, he went off to boot camp. And again, I was sad because it was like reliving us being separated all over again. So he was gone to boot camp. And his mom at the time had went to Chicago, I think, to be with her sister or something. So I wound up not wanting to stay in that apartment by myself. I wind up going to stay with my auntie Yvette, my mother's sister, and her kids, Nikki, Dominique, and Aurelia, the twins. I don't know why I told them not to tell their mom that I was pregnant, because it was going to be only a matter of time before I started to show, which, I had probably a little pouch, but it didn't show as much as I thought it would until, a little later on in pregnancy, whatever. But the big kicker was I didn't tell my dad. No. I did not tell my dad. And I'm thinking to myself, I have this whole new attitude and everything. Why in the hell am I afraid to tell this man that I'm pregnant? I'm an adult now. I don't live with this man anymore. I don't have to answer to him. He has no control over me anymore. Fuck it. I'm just going to go ahead and tell him because he's going to find out eventually. Just saying. So I wind up at the time, and like I said, this was, back then. This was back in 2003? Yeah, because me and my man both graduated in 2003. So I wind up calling him, and I think my future stepmother at the time had picked up the phone and whatnot. And I was like, I need to speak to my dad. I got to tell him something. So I came out and told my dad I'm pregnant. And of course, he didn't take it well. I mean, what parent wants to hear that their child is pregnant? But again, I was an adult. So why would it make a bit of a difference? I was about to turn 19. What's the big deal? So he wasn't happy. And of course, he asked me who the father was. Do you know how bad I wanted to just toy with his head? Like, well, I gotta figure that out, Dad, because it's been so many. Y'all know I'm crazy as hell. I'm sarcastic too. It's a gift. It's a talent. It's a special ability. So, of course, I told him who the father was, whatever. And he was like, I know it's not that boy that I called in my house. He does have a name. You don't have to call him boy. I can give you his name. You can call him by his name. You don't have to call him a boy. Like you calling him like he's a creature or something or a thing. He is a person. So I guess he wound up giving the phone to my future stepmother at the time because she wound up, saying some things to me. I don't recall. But at the time, I just felt like she was just one-siding everything and that she was taking his side and not hearing my side of the story. I'm over here about to be a parent in the next few months. My man is gone in the Navy. My soon-to-be mother-in-law is out in Chicago. I'm out here with my mother's people because I didn't feel the need to stay somewhere by myself pregnant in Inkster. God knows anything could have happened to me. So, of course, I made the decision myself to go stay with relatives that I can trust and will keep me safe. And they did. But I just felt she was taking his side over not hearing both sides. She heard only his side and not mine. So I was getting upset. And, of course, my cousin Nikki saw that I was. She took the phone from me and pretty much I guess you could say I can paraphrase here because I need to learn to paraphrase more in my classes, but I'm learning it. But she on the line said, don't upset her. It's not fair. She's pregnant. She's already going through, she has so many emotions running through her right now, and you are not helping by, jumping down her throat about what is happening. She is pregnant. She's trying to take care of herself. She does not need any added stress. And she was right. So now after my cousin said that, then my future stepmother at the time started coming around and, taking me places if I needed to go to the store, if I needed anything, she got it for me and whatnot because, at the time, Dee was sending me money, for me to get whatever I needed during the duration that he was gone. And my auntie loved him for that. He was writing me letters. He was calling me. He was sending me money to make sure that me and his unborn child was okay. What more can you ask for? So time went on and he was graduating from boot camp and he sent me the money to get a ticket to go out there. So I wound up purchasing a ticket at the Greyhound, and my soon-to-be brother-in-law at the time, Zale, wound up coming with me because my future mother-in-law did not want me to go out there by myself, in my condition, which is completely understandable. She said she wasn't able to come for some reason. I completely forgot why. Honest to God, I did. So me and Zale wound up taking the Greyhound bus to Chicago. And guys, when I went out there to Chicago, I swear on my life, I fell more and more in love with it. I swear. I was just like, I basically would have still been in Michigan, probably getting told what to do left, right, and sideways by my family, by my auntie, getting bullied by my cousins. But here I am, little old Blue, then branched out into her new life. And now she's seeing new places and being with new people that she felt comfortable being around, and was able to do whatever the hell she wanted to do without having to worry about someone telling her something else. So yeah, I was thrilled to be in Chicago because it wasn't Michigan, because I felt I can get a break for once. So we wound up staying with now my aunt Tangi. Shout out to Aunt Tangi in Chicago. And when I saw her, I thought that my mother-in-law was playing a trick on me. I did, because that's how much they look alike. I swear they look like twins. Because when we came out and I saw my Aunt Tangi, I literally thought it was my mother-in-law. And I'm like, is she playing a trick on us? Because I could have sworn I just saw your mom back in Michigan. How in the world did she make it from Michigan to Chicago within the same duration that we did? And I definitely did not see no other Greyhound bus behind us of any sort. So how in the world did she get out here? Come to find out that it really was my aunt Tangi. So yeah, it was. I just thought it was a trick, but it wasn't. So I stayed with her, of course, with her two daughters, Brittany and Brayla. Shout out to you guys too. I miss you guys. And I waited until Dee was able to come and visit. So I think I was laying in bed, and I think Zell and Brayla said that there was a limo outside, and I'm like, why is there a limo outside? Because I think at the time they were just living on the south side of Chicago. Well, then again, they still live on the south side of Chicago. But oh, her place was beautiful, on the inside and outside, because when you stepped outside, you can literally see the city of Chicago. Like, as soon as you walk outside and you turn to the left, you can see the city of Chicago. I used to always love going outside her townhome just to look at Chicago just lit up at night, or even just look at it in broad freaking daylight. It didn't matter. It was just the fact that it was Chicago, not Michigan, Chicago. So they were saying that there was a limo outside, whatever, or a taxi, whatever. I'm like, okay, maybe it's like for the person across the street or something, or or maybe someone like next door. So why are you guys saying this? So I'm still laying down, whatever, and then all of a sudden the door opened, and I look up, and I see this black trench coat, and I'm looking again, and there was Dee. You just saw how fast I rolled out of that freaking bed and just hugged him. I was just so ecstatic to see him again after being apart from him yet again. So we're together. So he's spending time with me. He's taking me out on the town, of Chicago, getting on trains. He took me out to eat and whatnot. Guys, I was just enjoying my second chance at life. That's what it was. Little old Blue here got a second chance at life. I was able to have fun, not worry about being spied on, not worrying about, anyone, watching over me, telling me I can't do this, I can't do that, I can't see this person, I can't be friends with this person, I can't go here, I can't go there. I was just enjoying life. I was enjoying living and just doing me. I loved it. It's just wow. So then all of a sudden he had to go to A school, I think for like 2 to 3 months. And I wound up going back to Michigan, go figure. And I stayed with my auntie again. I stayed with her there the whole time. Plus all my stuff was there. So I just figured, I didn't want to, bombard my mother, my mother-in-law. I might as well just call my mother-in-law because she is to me today. So I stayed with my aunt in Detroit. I just felt a lot. I guess I was just more comfortable there, and whatnot. And like I said, I didn't want to burden my mother-in-law, because I didn't know whether or not she was going to go back to Chicago or if she was going to go take another trip. And if she did, I mean, it would have been a waste of time for me to come back. If she was going to go back out of town, I might as well just stay where I'm at. So in case if she did decide to go back out of town, she can just up and go, and she don't have to worry about, she didn't have to worry about little old me because I was able to take care of myself. So mind you, at this time, my dad still haven't came around. My stepmother was still showing up, whatever, taking me places, whatever. So I just kept telling myself that if he can't get over this bullshit that's been going on between me and him, then he don't have to worry about seeing his first grandchild. Remember, people, I was the only child that he had. Okay, so, I mean, everything that I've done, I mean, of course, I'm not proud of it, but at the end of the day, what's done is done. I can't reverse, I can't turn back the hands of time. I'll say it like that. I can't turn back the hands of time. And I guess that's what he wished that could happen, but we can't do that. God can probably do that, but we can't. We don't have that power. So I pretty much was like, you know what? I'm over it. I'm done. If he wants to keep acting like this, that is fine. I'm moving on with my life. I'm making my own damn decisions. I don't need your approval on anything for that matter. I do me. Now, if you want to be a part of my life, then I suggest you just, get off the grudge train and learn to just, let go of what happened. Point blank to the period. I'm fin to pop out your first grandchild and you're sitting over here still upset about what I did. And people, I really think what my dad's expectation was that I was just going to roll over and take it. Don't work that way. Maybe back then when I didn't have a voice, it might have worked. But the fact that I branched out and found my way, he was mad about that. Because I actually opened up my mouth and was like, no, I'm not staying with you guys. Take me back to where I was. I was happy there. I was able to do what I want whenever I want. And I don't have to sit over here and get anyone's permission to do anything. I'm an adult. I graduated. There's nothing you can say nor do that's going to change my mind. I'm my own person now. I'm an adult. I seriously think they were trying to still have some control over me, even though I was an adult. I didn't understand that. Why do parents feel that when their child turned 18, you think you still have control over your kids? They're adults. Leave them alone. Let them fuck up. Because we all know you are our safety nets. We know this. We're going to fuck up. Eventually, we will come back home to mommy. I didn't do that. Trust me, I did not come back to mommy and daddy when I fucked up. Okay? My man was in the Navy, for goodness sake. If anything fucked up, we handled it. I didn't go running to mommy and dad. And I thought that would have been another thing my dad would have actually been proud of, is that I'm not mooching off of him. I'm not running to him every time I had a problem. I became an adult. I was finna be a mother to a little girl, Diamond Jean Nicole. Of course, my now 14-year-old daughter. So I'm sitting here thinking to myself, what more do you want? What more do you need from me? Like, I'm finna give birth to your first grandchild and you're gonna act like this? Like, seriously? Like, what the fuck? But like I said, this was back at the time. So months go by. He's done with A school. This was when it was time for me to go, because he was getting stationed out somewhere else. And it wasn't Michigan, nor Chicago. So I packed up my things. I went back to Chicago to stay with his aunt. And he got out. He had a little free time until before he had to go and get stationed to wherever he was going to go. Unfortunately, he got him late, his orders. And later on, we've come to find out that he's getting stationed out in Whidbey Island, Washington. And I'm like, Washington? That's all the way over there with California. Like, whoa. Like, I've never been that far from home in my life. But at the same time, it was exciting because it was a whole new state. Me and him never been there. And to me, it was just a new adventure for me. I literally went from being stranded to graduating to pretty much living away from my parents to being pregnant to now all of a sudden being a Navy wife. Yeah. In April, we were married. So yeah, I was 7 months pregnant at the time when we tied the knot. So after that, he got his orders. We took the train all the way to Washington. And people, your girl Blue was on cloud fucking 9. Not only I was with my man, I was pregnant with our daughter. We're traveling to a state we've never been before. And we're just going to be going on a whole new adventure. This was just wow. Like, Blue has really developed, and keeps on developing. So we get to Washington, and this is funny to me. I don't know if it's gonna be funny to you guys. You guys might think I'm stupid when I tell you this, but I'm gonna tell you anyway. So we get to the train station, and we don't know what Rigby Island is. We're sitting here thinking like Rigby Island is like a little, like just the name of a little city somewhere on the outs, somewhere in Washington, whatever. And so there was a book, and I'm looking through the book. I'm looking for Washington. I'm like, okay, here's Washington, whatever. We're here. Where's Rigby Island? So I'm thinking Rigby is spelled R-E-B-I. Rigby. Yeah, if y'all laughing at me, you kiss my ass. Because I thought that's how it was spelled. Hey, A for effort, I tried. So I'm looking at the map, and I come across something that said Rigby Island, Washington. That's where he's getting, that's where he's stationed at. And then when I looked where it was located at, I was like, you got to be kidding me. What the fuck? So D was like, what's the matter? I'm like, the good news is I've found Rigby Island. The bad news is it is an actual island. You might as well say it's like at the tip of Washington. And I showed him what I was looking at. And he was like, we're in the water. Great. We're going to be fucking on Gilligan's fucking Island in this bitch. People, I can't swim. I'm not afraid to admit it. I can't fucking swim to save my own life. I can't. My man can swim. He has no choice because he's in the service. You got to know how to swim. But I can't swim. So someone from his command came to pick us up from the train station and drove us all the way out there to Rigby Island. Now, mind you, we're in this little truck. You can only fit like 2 people in it. So I literally had to sit down and turn. I had to sit like this, so my legs were over D's legs. And mind you, I'm 7 months pregnant, so the belly's not helping me right now. Very uncomfortable ride. So the guy is pretty much, explaining us what to expect and whatever. So as he's driving, I'm just admiring the scenery. I'm admiring everything that I see. I'm pinpointing where everything is. So if ever I want to go somewhere to a certain place, I know where to go. And then we get to the road that's taking us to the island. And we're going like this, like one minute we're going like this, and then it was like, and then we go. It's gonna look like a 3 video. But this is all we were doing. We were like making turns like this. I swear I thought I was gonna throw up. And then we wind up crossing this bridge, which I later on found out was called Deception Pass. I was like, the name itself is not comfort to my ears right now. It's disturbing. So we get to the base. He checks in and whatnot. And the thing is, they did not have a place ready for us. I'm like, did you guys not get the memo that this man is coming out not just by himself, but with his pregnant wife? Like, how the hell we don't have a place? Thank God they found us a place right there on the base housing. Nice little townhouse, 2-bedroom. That was our first home without, my mother-in-law. It was just me and him. Like, we were just like taking it all in. I know it was, a big step. It was a big rush, whatever, but it was just like, this is huge. This is completely big. This is huge. This is wow. Blue just evolved even more because I thought I was dreaming. I seriously thought this was a dream and I was going to get woken up from it. But this was all legit happening. I am in a completely different state. I am in a completely different town. I am literally a wife and a mother, finna be a mother in 2 months. And I'm just like, what in the world? My life just went from sadness to happiness and excitement at the same time. And I always ask myself, how can this be? How is this even happening right now? I've heard a lot of my friends travel to different places and exploring new places. I never got that chance. And now I'm in this new place, this new state. I get to experience what they experience, and I see what they mean when you're having fun and how it makes you feel and whatnot. It was wow. I loved it. I loved it. Trust me, there was some good bad times in the Navy, but the good times I remember because we had our own grocery store, we had our own store, you know, excellent round the clock healthcare up the wazoo. I think the only sucky part was that we had to drive off the island to get to the mall, but whatever. That's beggars can't be choosers. But it was just a rush. And I'm sitting here thinking, I'm just out here like, this is crazy. This is going to be one hell of an experience out here in Washington. We're going to be on a whole new, like, adventure trip. Like, this is crazy. So, I'm thinking, like, no fucking way that this can be real. But it is. So, this was part 2. I will be doing a part 3 next week, hopefully. So I hope you enjoyed part 2. Don't forget to watch part 1. Like, subscribe, comment, and I will see you guys next week. Good night to my royal fans. Love you guys. Bye.